This is update 1 or day 2 of building my satellite image analysis library. Since last time I fixed the stretch resolution issue, so this was the image from last time, and this is the image now. The reason it's distorted is because of the Earth's curvature. So the latitude was fine. As you can see from this image to this, the vertical, the latitude, it's fine. It's the width that's the problem. So for the longitude, or the width, you have to take into account the Earth's curvature. And that's essentially just a cosine equation, which if you get close to the equator or right on the equator, cosine of 90 is 0, so that's why this little area is here. Following that, I cleaned up the download patch function. Last time it had some messy metadata calculations kind of jumbled up in there, so I separated those and cleaned it up. I also took into account a dynamic pixel calculator. Essentially, if you decided to go with a threshold of 0.01 instead of 0.001, you would get a much larger image. Something similar to this. Now, while, yes, vehicles are still visible, and arguably more so, the cars are a little bit small compared to the other image. They're both small, but they're bigger. You're finding the maximum ground span and dividing it by the resolution, which in this case, the images I'm using have a 0.6 meter resolution. It allows for an adaptive function, meaning if you really want a large area, it'll account for that and request a larger pixel threshold. A threshold of 0.01 versus 0.001 at the same pixel dimension, you wouldn't be able to see cars even if you zoomed in on the larger threshold. This fixes the issue by taking whatever the dimensions you want and adjusting the resolution to accurately display that, so you're not wasting a API call. I think the biggest change from last time is this loop. So now you could download a range from, say, 2022 to 2018 and then a limit. So in this case, I put a limit of 2. It found 2 images, and because I ran it, it found the cache file. But normally you would just find 2 images, or normally you would find 2 images on the Google server, and it would pull those images from the exact same spot, just at a different time. So I wanted to show this as a kind of reference from the same place at different times. And this is essentially the idea. I want to measure at different times how many cars are in a parking lot. Now, this resolution is not doing me any favors whatsoever. So I'm debating on kind of zooming out and getting this kind of resolution, if that might be better. I might just stay with this. This might be a little difficult for an AI to look at. However, this image gives me more confidence. And apart from that, I started a very basic machine learning class, essentially just getting the bare bones skeleton of this class, of the machine learning layer. Next time, I hope to have a solid machine learning layer, maybe, and start working on tweaking parameters and maybe even training a model. I know there's some data sets out there that I could use, but if I could make my own from the data that I'll be using, I think I'd be in a better spot, simply because the model would recognize, hey, this blurry thing that's about 14 by 11 pixels is a car, instead of using a data set that has better resolution looking cars, which would then gloss over my bad resolution cars. That's all for today.